believe what they call juju.
Gambian activist has begun serving time in an American jail for his involvement in December 2014 ill-fated plot to overthrow the Gambia regime of President Yaya Jammeh. Mr. Banka Manneh, a U.S. resident who is the chairman of the Gambian Civil Society Association, was sentenced in May to 6 months in prison by the court in Minnesota for aiding and abetting in preparation of a failed coup. He was also given 3 years probation and a $200 fine. Prosecutor added that while Mr. Banka Manneh did not travel to the Gambia, searches on his computer, phone, and other documents that were seized after FBI agents raided his house revealed that he participated in conference calls, exchanged planning documents with the other members of the conspiracy, and later purchased 2 pistols, 1 rifle to equate the co-conspirator participating in the coup. Investigation revealed that Mr. Banka Manneh was designated to serve as the international spokesperson for the group. He also busied himself with a post-coup plan and prepared a document titled Transition into the Third Republic of the Gambia, which outlined a 2-year time period before election would be held. Mr. Manneh also traveled to Senegal and Brussels, Belgium, to lobby European Union officials to levy sanctions against the Gambia. Hello and welcome to the special edition of the Mimi Janha Show. I'm your host, Mimi Sister Janha. On our special segment today, I've been so honored and so humbled to have this amazing gentleman. This is the man that's making me do what I love the most, sitting here in front of you all tonight. Mr. Banka Manneh. What can you say?
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
You know, Banka, but it's just so humbling knowing everything that you've risked for, just for us, our freedom. People like myself, I can fully practice journalism. It's very humbling.
Thank you.
For the viewers that are watching the show that don't really know who you are, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow. Well, thank you. Actually, lately I've been doing a lot of that, introducing myself. I guess the name Banka.
We can't get enough of it.
Yeah, but anyway, but thank you very much, Mimi. I appreciate the opportunity and actually to sit down with you. You've been doing a wonderful job, and I've been following all your videos. I'm a big fan.
Thank you,
really.
sir.
So the professionalism, the passion, the love of telling our story really makes you a special individual. So I want to thank you for that, really.
Thank you, sir.
But yeah, with me, I'm an open book for the most part. Because to some degree, I have never really talked much about myself. It's mostly been about Yaya Jammeh and community uses and all the things, and I was excited to be doing that too. But I'm glad to tell you a little bit about me. I am from Brufut. That's where I was born and raised. Well, not raised. I was raised in Jarasoma. I left Brufut when I was about 7, 8 years old. Yeah, and then I moved to Jarasoma when I was moved to Jarasoma, and then I moved on my own. But they sent me there to go and live with my sister in Jarasoma. So I went to Pakalindin Primary School.
Shout out to Pakalindin Primary School.
Yeah, Pakalindin. Yes, Pakalindin. And I loved it. And even though I stayed in Jarasoma, see, back in those days, all the kids in Jarasoma, Toyataba, Sikunda, Sankuya, Unoi, Mansa Concord, Pakalindin itself, and Soma, we are all going to Pakalindin Primary School. Yeah, and so, when they built Pakalindin Primary School, but interestingly enough, what actually happened, they were building Soma Primary School. It wasn't ready yet. So, most of us were ahead of the Soma Primary School class, and then so we all trekked to Pakalindin Primary School. So that was a really exciting part of my life, really. So I did Pakalindin Primary School. Then from there, But after passing the common entrance examination, I went to St. Augustine's High School.
St. Augustine.
And there I was. Yeah. I lived in Banjul, and then later on we moved to Sarakunda, Dipakunda. So I lived in Dipakunda for several years, and then when I finished, school, I moved back to Banjul because I was working at the Atlantic Hotel. Wow. So I was living in Banjul, and after that I came here, and that was 22 years ago.
Wow, what a blessing. It's such a humble beginning. Yeah. You pretty much touch every part of the Gambia.
Pretty much. I'm both a city village boy, if you will.
City village by combination.
City, town, village, I don't know how you can describe it. I've done all of them.
But the good thing is you get to leave both worlds.
Yes.
So I guess that also balances who you are today.
Oh yes, definitely. It does inform my beliefs and my perspective on life and my outlook on the issues and the diversity that I have come to appreciate so much about us as a country. Because in all these places you are dealing with very diverse groups. And in so many ways, really, interestingly enough, Summer was a melting pot. It was a place where, if you want to talk about Gambia, Senegal, and Guinea, that's where they meet. I mean, really, that's why when you go there, you see the Senegalese influence, you see the Gambia influence, and you see the Guinea influence, because many Fulas that came from Guinea Conakry actually settled over there.
They settled there.
We have a whole section of town called Angalfuta.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, it's a whole section of town. It's called Angalfuta, and because it's mostly populated by actually Fulas.
Wow.
So I guess it's like saying English Futa.
English Futa.
Because Futa is in French Guinea, so I guess that's where the name came from. But anyway, beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful town, and so and you have like I said, that's where Senegalese, when they go into Casamance, north and south. When they trek, they
all meet right there.
Everything. And when you go from Banjul to Basse,
you meet there.
So it's like a Major Johnson between Gambia, Senegal, and Guinea, Conakry. Yeah, it's an amazing place. So you live there, and then being from Brufut, and then coming to live in Banjul and Dipakunda and Sarakunda. All that really is it's a unique.
Cultivate.
Oh yes, I love it. I love it. Looking back, I really love it. So,
it's very humbling. Yeah. So talk to me, Banka, in your recent involvement. You've been involved in Gambian politics from the former regime of Yaya Jammeh. Tell us why were you so passionate about making sure Jammeh was out of the Gambia? All these years, everything you ever fought for was to get him out.
Right.
Why was it so important for you to see Jammeh pretty much no longer leave the Gambia or even be in the Gambia?
Yeah. Well, for the same reason that you didn't appreciate Jammeh. It's literally the same reason. The brutality, the lack of respect for the Constitution, the lack of respect for Gambians, lack of respect for human life, really. And so many things, but mainly those. I have to be honest, when he first came to power, I was excited.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I was really excited.
And how was that so?
The change. I mean, we were all... Jawara was there for 30 years. We felt it was time for him to go. We were all complaining about corruption and all these things, the usual stuff that we all complained about. Mm-hmm. And so when Jammeh came to power, it was a welcome development. I mean, to be honest, most of us really were not pissed off about it at all.
So you guys were more excited personally for the change.
Yeah, for the change more than anything else, really. It could have been anybody else and I would have still been excited. It wasn't, because I didn't know Jammeh at all. I didn't, even though after the coup, some, people are telling me, Jammeh used to come to the house, over there in Tobacco Road, he had this gentleman who was in the army, that they said he used to come and visit a lot. Because I just never paid attention to it. So, but apparently people in the home knew him, and so they called him Kanilai. Yeah. So anyway.
So he had a nickname, Kanilai.
Yeah.
Oh,
they were the ones. Because I didn't know him. They were reminding me, look, you remember Kanilai? No, I don't remember Kanilai. Kanilai used to come to the house over them, into the home over there to visit. We had an army guy there called Staff by. They said he used to come, but I obviously didn't remember him. But anyway, coming back to your point, and so, but it didn't take me long to really begin to have my doubts. It really didn't take me long. Because Sana Sabali, the vice chair at the time, it was less about Yaya though than more and more about Sana. For me in the beginning, it was funny. The beginning time of this whole thing, Jammeh looked like the good guy, and Sana, on the other hand, looked like the bad guy. And Edward Singare, to a very great extent, too, was seen as the bad guy.
What was that so?
Because maybe they were the ones more in the media and many things, for instance, for us, we were hearing about stories about Sana's entourage shooting at people's, car tires because they didn't get off the road quick enough for them to go through, that kind of thing. And once those stories started to come in, I was like, I don't know about this one. It really began to raise my doubts because, to me, I genuinely thought that these guys with their backgrounds, from very humble backgrounds, that they would be more sensitive to those kinds of things. True. Abuse would become something that they will really be a lot much more sensitive to.
You think maybe they were just too young to?
I don't know. I wasn't sure at the time really what it was, but whatever it was, I really didn't care. I just didn't appreciate the fact that those things are happening. And then, boom, November 11. I think November 11 really was a turning moment for me.
So what really happened November 11?
This was when they went to the army barracks and killed a lot of soldiers. Literally execution style. And so at first they came to the radios, back in days we didn't have GRTS.
No TV.
No TV, it was just radio. Mainly radio was their, means of communication. So they came to radio, we were all listening. They said that, well, some soldiers wanted to stage a coup. And so, during Sana Sabali actually, in fact, was the one I remember very well who was on the radio. I was in the Gambia at the time. And he did talk about how, the soldiers died during a skirmish and all that kind of stuff. So we're like, this was soldiers killing soldiers fighting among themselves. You felt it, but it didn't, it didn't move you much. And then the true stories began to come out. That no, it was not a fighting, there was no, combat going on. Actually, these people killed these folks, summarily. I mean, they literally were executed. And I was like...
How clear was that source? Just knowing that...
No, you hear it from the soldiers, from army, people who were actually there in the barracks. You started, they started telling you, no, what they are saying is not true. Actually, these people were killed. And so, and some of these guys actually were there at the barracks at the time when it took place. So they know the whole story and how Sana and Edward came there and then these things took place and stuff. And for me at that point, I was like, okay, that's it. Time out.
So when you find out, knowing that really happened, the incident really occurred, what is the first thing that you did?
At the time, because even my appreciation of the coup, the change, didn't translate into much on my part. It wasn't like I was out there celebrating and my opinion. I was mostly expressing opinion, really. When you talk to people and then there is doubts about the coup, you said no. Back in the days we used to call them soldiers with a difference. We tell no, these are soldiers with a difference. They are not going to do anything.
Because you guys really wanted them to be different.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. I mean, especially the more we heard about stories about Yaya Jammeh's humble beginning, Sana Sabali's humble beginnings, Edward Singate's very humble backgrounds. Yeah. I mean, they didn't come from these filthy rich families and that we all associated with corruption.
True.
And they were from backgrounds that really were very impressive to so many, to some extent, really. I mean, you think about it, you are like, wow, these are guys that I can relate to.
So what year did you leave Gambia?
I left in 95.
So when you left 95, knowing everything you left in the Gambia,
right?
What were you doing towards, of course, knowing that these people were in power, and they know good for Gambia, and after everything that's happening. So while you were here, what are some of the things that you were hearing that was happening back home that really made you realize that these people, they really have to go?
When I came to the United States, believe it or not, when I was coming, already I had given up on these guys. You have to understand, by then Edward Singate was dead. I'm sorry. Astaghfirullah, it was Sadibu Haidara.
Oh.
Sadibu Haidara was dead, and Korosisa was dead. So for me, already November 11 made me give up on them. That this is not what the change that we want. And then those things happened, and then I realized, wow, we really truly have a typical military regime, and these people are on a killing spree. They are going to kill a lot more people. And I've been warned about it before. I remember a former Ghanaian high school teacher of mine, swam by his home in Latrikunda, and we were talking about the coup. And I was like, this was right at the beginning of the coup. I was very excited at that time. He said to me, look, you don't know these generals. They are lying to you. They will stay and they will be very brutal. I said, no, they will not. He said, no, Banka. In Ghana, this was what happened over there. Rawlings came with big promises, and other military governments came with big promises. And before it was over, many people died. And I kept telling them, no. Because, as Gambians, the funny thing about us is that we tend to think that we are different from everybody else. There's certain things we don't do and we will never do. And so the idea of really Gambians going out there and killing other Gambians just like that was to me very alien and very unreal. So I told him literally, no, these are soldiers with a difference. Gambians will not do stuff like that. That's the Ghanaians. Ghanaians will do that, but Gambians will not do that. And he just laughed. He laughed. He said, Banka, these generals will disappoint you so much, you will not believe it. I said, no, they will not. He called them generals. I said, no, they will not. So anyway, by the time I came here, all those really, those kinds of conversations were really repeating in my mind. I was thinking, how naive could I be to believe that these guys were at real change. And I didn't like the feeling. I didn't like anything that was going on. I was disgusted at that time. I really wanted to just get out of there. So coming to the United States, I was like, you know what, thank God. Because believe it or not, that they would stay this long, I didn't expect that, to be honest. I honestly thought that there would be a counter coup, that another group of soldiers would really get rid of Jammeh. Coming here, I had no doubts in my mind that was going to happen. That eventually some soldiers, I just saw the Gambia on the brink of war. I really did. I really believed. I didn't think of political party methods or civil society or this or that. No. I honestly believed in my gut that Gambia was on the brink of civil war. That when I came here, people
does that really make you sometimes very worried about Gambia?
Oh, I was very, very scared for Gambia. I was very worried.
Just knowing that, knowing what you left back home and family and friends, and you being here, you guys were one of the first people that left the Gambia at that early age to come here, and knowing that your country is still not stable, but you still have to continue living life, even knowing that this is the unrest that's going back home. That must be very, very tough for you.
It was very, very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. When I arrived here, even the my host, they said, so Banka, are you thinking of going back to Gambia? I said, Gambia is on the brink of war.
Yes,
anytime that country can collapse, anything can happen any day. So to me, my main expectation for me at that time, every day I went to bed, I was thinking, tomorrow morning when we wake up, we'll hear that there is fighting on the streets of Banjul. I mean, I really kind of in my gut believe that Gambia was going there. Yeah, because I knew that situation, I just felt that situation was unsustainable, that something bad was going to happen. So it was no surprise that, many attempts were made and that many lives have been lost along the way.
Could you talk to me about the current incident that happened, December 2014?
Right.
Your involvement with the 5 Gambian heroes that tried to pretty much take over the Jammeh regime, and the whole process, and them losing their lives, and you being part of the main people that were involved in it. Tell us a little bit about that incident, and why did you feel it was so important for you to join those men to take Jammeh out?
Well, I mean, it all came out of a process, really. That didn't happen out of a vacuum or all of a sudden. It really didn't. Because for me personally, I traveled on a particular road and it took me to that point. And I think many people can relate to that. Look, December 30th could have been anybody. It really could have. Because so many people had that feeling and idea in mind by that point, that is. And because by that point, when December 30th took place, I would say overwhelming majority of people in the struggle really felt it was time to do something like that. So when you looking back, it could have been anybody who was December 30th. It really could. It just happened that the whole thing really happened around us, and I happened to be part of the effort. Because when you look at it, personally, I was never crazy about the violent method. Never crazy about it at all. From the time when I became really entrenched in the struggle and be part of it and really got into it. Up to before December 30th, my efforts and working with my colleagues, and I can name a lot of them, up to now you hear the person with those names, Musa Deng and all these guys. We worked with the opposition parties on the ground from the beginning. They were our main focus. We organized conferences for them. We brought them to the United States here. We held demonstrations on their behalf and for them. We raised funds for them. You name it. We are on the opposition parties were our agenda. Their agenda was our agenda, really.
Why did you guys have to pretty much come with the political parties on the ground? Just pretty much putting all your time and effort on freeing Gambia, even knowing that this political party can also turn to disappoint you guys if they happen to be in power. But you guys were just keen to just get Jammeh out. Why was that so important to you all?
At that point, we have come to realize, most of us, I would say all of us pretty much, have come to realize that we have to have change first, and then really begin to work on the issues that really we all also care deeply about, which is to make sure we build the institutions and all the things that we hear us talk about.
True.
So at the time, it was just a matter of looking for the vehicle to get the change. And for us, we felt the opposition parties were the best vehicle, because they were the ones on the ground. They were the ones who were an organized entity that really one could channel your energy and resources through. And also, frankly, when you come to look at it, there was no civil society grouping in the Gambia like that you could even channel these things through.
That too.
No, there was no civil society grouping at all. When I say civil society, I mean advocacy groups like that.
True.
Mostly, you'll hear about ones that are working on maybe disease prevention or this and that. But nothing political in nature, as far as even ones that you can say will call people out on the streets to go and protest. And there was no unions on the ground that really were strong enough and were willing to do certain things that unions do around the world. When you look at Poland, like Wałęsa was a trade unionist. I mean, that's how they channeled their change in Poland to get themselves out of a brutal dictatorship. In our case, the avenue was the opposition parties. And because we believed in that process too, that method too, that look, if we all put our resources together, we come together, we unite, yes, we can do this together. Even if we want to if we want to get a fighting chance, that's gotta happen.
But knowing that there was not like a strong advocacy on the ground, there was not like a strong union on the ground. What happened? What really happened December 30th?
Well,
and why did you decide that was the right time to go in Gambia and get Jammeh out, even knowing the fact that there was not really like a strong union on the ground helping you all?
Well, here's how the whole concept was. I mean, because you have to understand, because by this point we tried to use the electoral means to get rid of Jammeh. It wasn't possible. He only became more repressive and disappearing more opposition party members and arresting opposition party leaders, and really doing all kinds of crazy tortures, and all these things were becoming common. And by that point, even the abuse itself had become much more intensified. Jammeh was killing brazenly. I mean, back in 2012, he just woke up one morning and said, I'm going to execute people. And he did. He went ahead and executed people. At that point, he was very brazen in the things that he did. And many people who had doubts about whether he was a killer, whether he was a murderer, was one behind most of these killings, all doubts were gone, because by this time, Jammeh wasn't hiding those things about himself anymore. He had become comfortable enough to say, I'm going to kill Gambians, and you kill. So, and every day we are hearing about more disappearances, more killings, more tortures, more everything. So we are technically racing against time for many other people and lives on the ground. That was how it became.
Like the sooner you get him out,
the sooner you get this man, the better we're going to save lives.
We're going to keep going, more lives.
Absolutely. The question always was, who is next? By tomorrow morning, who is going to be dead? That was the question. You know, we didn't go to bed thinking, okay, now there is a little bit of hope. No, the question was always, let's just see tomorrow morning when we wake up, who we're going to find out died, who Jammeh killed. Who? So you are racing against time. You felt like, we got to hurry up and do this. So by that point, to be honest with you, personally, I didn't even care who got in Jammeh's place. I really did not care. Anybody was better than Jammeh. Anybody. You could bring us anything and we would take that person. So really, it was just within that environment, really, that Lamin Sane and I happened to bump into each other at the airport in Dakar.
Oh.
Yeah, so because I remember I was standing there and his wife said to him, that's Banka Manneh. And the wife...
The notorious Banka Manneh.
Yes, and then he came up to me and he shook my hand. Oh, wow, I've heard so much about you, and, I would like for us to talk, and we, when we get to United States, I really want to call you, so there's something we need to discuss. So I didn't know what it was really. It was, I hear that every time people call me and they would share ideas about stuff. Sure. So we traded numbers, and, I said hi to them, and when we actually got on the same plane, but we're not sitting on the same side. They were sitting they were sitting in the front or back, but we are not even on the same side. We never talk to each other anymore. Until when we got to the United States, and then later on he called me and he had this proposal, and he was very adamant about it. He was
So he literally called you and said, "This is what I want to do."
Yes, he said, "Look, I know you guys have been doing a good job, and you've been protesting a lot. You've been advocating, going to places. I know all about those things." And you've been walking through the opposition parties on the ground, trying to bring about change. He said, "Well, Banka, trust me, it's not going to happen through that. You guys, you've tried, I know, but trust me, the only way to get rid of this guy is through military action." He was adamant about it. He had no...
So he called you and told you everything you're doing. He's pretty much watching and he knows it. Yeah. And now he's reaching out to you, pretty much offering his service.
Well, he said, this is what we need to do.
Pretty much.
Yes.
For the sake of the guy.
He said, this is what we need to do.
How did that make you feel? When he
Actually, I wasn't comfortable about the conversation, to be honest with you. I wasn't even comfortable about it in the first place. I said to him, "Oh, wow, okay, well, I said, well, but yeah, I agree. I said to him, I agree with you. I think that's what needs to happen. But, but with those things, they are complicated, Sane. They are very, very complicated, because I went through my own little reasons and all that." He basically said, no, it's very easy. Believe it or not, I was there. He was there. He used to be the State House commander. So he told me about all those things that he knows these soldiers, this army, he trained a lot of them and all that. So I kind of thought, well, let me think about this one. So when I got off the phone, I was glad I got off the phone. I was like, thank God. Wow. Yeah, so he kept calling. He kept calling for some time.
And how did other guys also become part of it?
Well, when he kept calling, and finally, one day, I picked up his call, and he repeated the same thing. He said, "So what do you think?" I said, "Well, I think this is really. I think maybe you are right." At that point, to be honest with you, because for me personally, I've always believed that we got into a point where definitely something's got to give. I had no doubts about it at that point, but then I was just skeptical of, whether it was possible. Really, I was doubtful. So, but on this particular day, we talked about it, and then I agreed with him to all these points. I said, you know what, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe let's go ahead and do it. So, but then when we got on the phone, believe it or not, I believe it was a day later, or I can't remember, but it was very short period that Njaga Jammeh called me. He said, Banka Banka. That's what he used to call me. But Njaga and I go way back to high school. He said, Banka Banka. I said, yeah. He said, well, you know, he basically pretty much repeating what Sane once told me. That I know, because for Njaga, the whole time, all those years, he always tells me, Banka Banka, when you guys are ready to really get rid of Jammeh, you let me know. Because it kind of felt like for us, our peaceful methods and protests and all that, so was that he just had no doubts about that. That was not the way to go. So on this particular occasion, when he called me, he said, "No, now I think you should understand now that we definitely need to do something about this, Banka."
So it wasn't like a coincidence. You spoke to the Sani, and then Jaga called you.
Yeah,
and said the same thing.
I said to him, I said, well. I said, Jaga, believe it or not, I totally agree with you. Because we had this chat before, and you found me to be always skeptical about it. So this time, for me to just right off the bat, just say, yes, I think it's a good idea. I'm sure I didn't see his face. I was on the phone, but I'm sure he was like, wait a minute, am I talking to Banka? But I said, you know, I know somebody that I think we can talk to also.
So that's it.
Yeah, he said, oh, really? There. I said, yeah. I said, I've been talking to somebody about this and I think this, you know, let's do it.
So how long did the whole planning take?
It took some time because I believe it probably a year.
About a year.
Probably a year.
So and you guys were
about a year.
About a year.
Yeah, it's definitely a year. Yes, of planning, and many things went into it.
Just knowing that.
Yeah.
You guys are about to do something.
Yeah. And then from there, we met, and then we discussed, and then the rest is history.
So talk to me about the night, that December 30th.
Yeah.
When the news broke. What was going through your mind personally?
You know, it was when everything began to go down in the Gambia. Actually, I just happened to hear it from people. It wasn't like that I knew that this is the day these things are going to happen, and here we are. No, it wasn't like that. I just all of a sudden got news that this thing was happening on the ground.
But you can have an idea. They are on their way, but you don't know exactly what day.
No, I knew obviously that these guys were on the ground. I know that, but I'm just saying that December 30th there was a night. Yeah, no, I didn't know that. So, but then when it happened, when it was going on, I had no doubts that definitely this is it. So, but then you are not getting any news as far as what exactly was going on. And so I just was just as anxious as everybody else, worried, sick to my stomach, waiting to know what exactly is going on. Yeah. So when I got news about Njaga's death, it really struck me. And then Sane, all of a sudden, I heard about Sane's case, and oh my God, my stomach was boiling. Alaji Jajanyas, I didn't know him. I've never spoken to him. No. But then I heard about the fact that I knew of him before, but I didn't never talk to him directly. And oh my God, a horrible day. I was sick to my stomach. And at that point, but then, you know, came morning time. I mean, I was like, you know, this is it. To be honest with you, I don't know what anybody can tell a family member that has lost a loved one, other than sorry, other than pray for them, and other than being there for them. Because what else can you say? At least the good news is that these people died believing what they believed, fighting for what they believe in, and doing what they felt was the right thing to do. And so, I had an interview just the other day with Lamin Faye, and I was telling him that when it comes to living and dying, that's a process. Those are short things. We all gonna, every one of us is gonna go through that process. But then, what did you do when you were alive? What legacy did you leave behind? I think that's the question we should all be asking ourselves. What legacy are we gonna leave behind? And so their family members can be proud and frankly be happy about the fact that the legacy these people left is a legacy of integrity, honesty, seeking the truth, and fighting for what is right. That's their legacy. So at the end of the day, one can disagree with the method and all that. But the fact that that was a necessary action against Jammeh, really, if anybody has any doubts about that, you all you have to do is watch what's going on in the Gambia right now. We have the economic soldiers from ECOWAS.
Just to get him out.
Thank you. So
your method was right. It was just
in the end,
time.
that's what actually got rid of Jammeh.
But when you look at it though, all those men dying for this, they actually contributed more. If you see Jammeh is out today, the contribution started when those men lost their lives for the freedom of the Gambian people.
Yeah.
When they know you guys are all comfortable here in America. You don't need anything in Gambia. You could sit here and live a comfortable life.
Yeah.
But you guys were so adamant about going back home and getting Jammeh out, just knowing everything that was going on with the human rights, with killing the people and torturing the Gambian people.
Yeah.
But you guys took it upon yourself, risking lives, just for the freedom of the Gambian people. If that's not an action of a hero, if that's not a definition of a hero, I don't know what that is.
Well, I mean, believe it or not, the true heroes are frankly, they are everywhere.
Including yourself. You see,
I don't see
including yourself, you are a hero.
That mine was
that's why every time I hear your name, I get goosebumps and I mean it in the bottom of my heart.
Sacrifice.
Watching you, I've been the one that's always like watching what's going on in Gambia. Let me go on Banka's page. Let me see what's going on. Trying to figure out what's really, really going on. Because knowing that we lack media attention, we didn't have any media outlet in Gambia, and everything that was going on pretty much is like, how do we get the right sources?
Yeah.
And it's just very, very humbling, and knowing someone like yourself contributed to that.
Yeah. Well, that is true. And then, I mean, it's amazing. Every country, Frantz Fanon, I'm a big reader of Frantz Fanon, but you probably do too.
Yes.
You seem like a Frantz Fanon person. He said that, and I believe him fully. He said, for people to really value their freedom and really truly value their country in of itself, they have to have fought for it. I think that's very, very deep. He believes they have to have fought for it. If they don't fight for it, they don't value it. They don't think much of it. And it can easily be taken away from them in that way. And in our case, finally we have heroes, Gambian heroes. People who fought for the country to give us what we deserve, what we want, what we desire, to fulfill our dreams. We finally have them. South Africa is talking about Nelson Mandela and all these people.
And the Gambia we're talking about.
For the Gambia we will talk about.
Especially Banka, you are behind everything.
For the Gambia, we'll talk about the giants of this world, Lamin Sanes of this world, Yaya Solo Sandeng, Solo Koroma, Kanyi Bakanyi, Ibrahim Chief Mane, Deda Haidara.
Banka Manneh.
No.
Banka Manneh too.
I can talk about all these people who actually, the students that died on April 10th and 11th that were shot. I mean, dozens of them. And the ones that really get paralyzed from it. And opposition party leaders who sacrificed so much. And the brave men and women in diaspora here, Pasamba Jaw and them, who protested on every turn, Os Benga, I mean, Sona Sala, I can I can go all through the names. Fatu Jaumane, I can Fatu Kamara, Malinger, Demabalde, and you know, Tukulor C, Umi Andros, and you know, I can. Oh my God, I don't even want to start naming names. If I do it, I'll forget so many names. I mean, you know, somebody might even judge me on that. Oh, why didn't you name this other person? And it's like, no, I'm not attempting. By the way, I'm not attempting to name all the names of the person. I'm just giving an example of the fact that everywhere, whether it's Europe here or in the Gambia, we finally have Gambian heroes that we can celebrate.
That's true.
And so now, you see, that's why look at what's happening with the new regime. Now, every little thing that they do is scrutinized. People are raising hell about it because now people value that.
I love it. Yes. I love it.
Isn't that
I love it.
Finally,
I love it. Finally.
We are scrutinizing. We are screaming. We are shouting. Everything that happens, I know Barrow is getting that going, my God. Sometimes I know even Barrow or some of these guys in the government are saying, you guys just shut up.
We have to do
it. That's what happens when people fight for their freedom. Because they value it now, finally.
It feels so
and they
good.
don't want to lose it.
That's
so
true.
Nobody should take it personal, but let's see it as the fact that this is the freedom that we fought for. Yes. This is what exactly we fought for. That we can be able to scrutinize our government, that we can be able to ask questions and we can demand answers, and that we can make sure that we create recourse, have a recourse to address issues. Now that right there is what this is all about, and that's what we've been fighting for. Rights will be abused here and there. Sometimes government will fail us and do stuff. But when people have a recourse, a place to go, a voice to speak out, speak about.
And the people put the government right
to
there.
task and make it accountable for its actions.
Voted for the current administration, the current president.
That's
Congratulations, President.
Respect for the Constitution and all that. That's what this was all about.
Mashallah.
Now that we are having a situation on our hands where those institutions are strengthening, people are raising hell about every little thing, fairly or unfairly. You can debate about that.
I just love it.
But we are. So that's the beauty of it. And that's what these people who died for.
Yes, sir.
And that's what those who fought hard, a hard fight, that's what they fought for. That was the battle that they fought. That's what this fight was all about. Mm-hmm. You see, someday all these names will be mentioned one by one. We'll go through a list and everybody's name will be mentioned.
Amen to that.
Every single person. All of them fought for this freedom that we are enjoying today. Every single one of them. We can go through all the names. And we will not exhaust it here at this moment.
True that.
If you want to try it, there'll be some special person that you're going to forget.
Yes.
And then you sit there going, I can't forget, I didn't mention this person's name and that person's name. Yeah. And that's what it is. True. And because we have so many of them, you cannot count them on your hands anymore or fingers or just say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's it. No. We have a lot of Mandelas, Gambian Mandelas, finally, and Gambian Winnie Mandelas, Nelson Mandelas and Winnie Mandelas. All these people fought very, very hard for the freedom that we are enjoying in that country today. And this is what this is all about.
How does it make you feel, knowing that you are a part of one of the heroes?
No, I'm not a hero. My sacrifice was just tiny little.
But how does it make you feel?
I'm excited by the fact that at least I was part of that history to liberate Gambia. At least I did I contributed the little tiny bit that I contributed. I'm excited about it.
A big one.
That I'm excited about. So, because if I live that long, that is. Someday when I sit with my grandkids, and they look at me and say, Grandpa, man, I heard you guys had this monster called Yaya Jammeh. Tell us about him. Why would you guys let that happen? I would sit there and say, hey, look here, kid. I did my little tiny bit about it. So don't tell me that what we did. So at least that little tiny bit, I can tell them that. I can share that with them. And then go on to tell the true heroes. And I can tell them all about those people. That's the story I want to tell someday.
Talk to me, the night the first day that you went to court and you had all the charges that were placed against you.
Yeah.
And what was going through your mind that particular day?
Well, Not much, really, because at that point I had made up my mind that I was part of this, and uh, everything that has been done, you know,
Just knowing that you're going to be away from your family for 6 months.
well, I mean, at that time I didn't know whether it was going to be 6 months or 25 years because I knew I was facing 25 years of imprisonment.
So let me just get this straight.
Mhm.
You could have faced up to 25 years.
Yes, yeah. All of us. Chodno Njai, Alaji Baro, Papa Fall, myself, yeah.
Why were they so hard on you guys, knowing everything about Gambia and especially Jammeh?
Mhm.
But we had the potential of facing up to 25 years in jail, in prison.
Well, but it was worth it. It was worth it. If you think if I'm sitting in prison right now, I'm given a 25-year prison sentence, and I'm told that Jammeh is no more, that Gambians are free and they are enjoying themselves, I'll be excited.
But you're not free.
Well, but sometimes that's the price you have to pay. Freedom is not free. Somebody's got to pay for it. Somebody's got to pay for it. And if as citizens we are not willing to sacrifice and pay for our own freedom, then who else will? Who else will? The only way we can command respect, even, is to make sure that we
Talk to me about the particular day when they were the verdicts. What was going through Banka's mind that day?
Well,
knowing that you could face up to 25 years.
I was excited.
And you're sitting here in front of us today.
I was excited. I was excited, to be honest. I mean, to be honest with you, at the courtroom, I actually cried there twice when they were showing the video of December 30th video. Powerful video. I was watching it, and when I watched Kajan sitting there and talking, and Sika started crying, I couldn't do it. Tears started rolling down my eyes like crazy. I couldn't watch her cry like that. So and when I got up to address the judge, and I was talking about my own background, my beginning, I really felt that because sometimes those stories do make me emotional. But then, to be honest with you, when the verdict was announced 6 months, I was really telling everybody, look, let's celebrate. And I was like, why? I said, well, 6 months? You really? 6 months?
Because when you look at it, after reading through some of the charges against you, when they said conspiracy behind, the mastermind of the whole attempt coup, how they found information on your computer and how you were communicating with the pretty much the people who were involved in it. You look at it could be double standard, where it's like, okay, but you're not there physically. But you were going to face up to 25 years in prison. Yeah, because look, I bought guns. Yeah, that too. Talk about the gun. A lot of guns. When I saw it and I read it and I was like, wow. So you actually went and bought a gun and saying that the operation everything was cost almost $200,000. Probably did. Yeah, it's not that much. Yes, a lot of money was spent on it. A lot of money was spent on it. Get just for the freedom of the Gambian people, knowing their lives were lost, knowing that you gentlemen that are also on the ground here could also face up to 25 years in prison. Somebody's got to. Who was that freedom for? Somebody's got to freedom. Got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. You see, the point is, even in the United States that we live in right now, if you look back, you would see that the sacrifice that citizens of this country did, the great citizens of this country did, is what made America great. And the America that we all enjoy today was because somebody gave himself up or herself up and fought for it. Somebody did. So if we are all going to sit here and say, no, it ain't going to be me, it ain't going to be me, well, then who is it going to be? And are you comfortable with that? That is because it's not you, it's somebody else? Are you comfortable with that? No, nobody should be comfortable with that. Because as a citizen and as Gambians, we should love our country that much. That when it comes down to it, we're willing to fight for
the Republic of the Gambia, stand up for the Republic of the Gambia, and frankly, show our loyalty to the Republic of the Gambia.
So for the viewers that are watching the show, especially Jammeh, what message do you have for him if he was watching the show, any alibi of his?
Well, the whole fight against Jammeh was nothing personal from the beginning. Like I said, in the beginning, I was excited about Jammeh's change. It was nothing personal. It's because he became a monster, and he started killing our people, abusing our constitution, and really abusing our women, and raping our women, and torturing our people. That's what I had an issue with. And that's what everybody in this struggle had an issue with.
But did you think we created a monster? Knowing that when he was coming, he was so humble, apparently, from the humble beginning. And then turned out to be this monster. You think Gambia also contributed towards that?
I think we bear some responsibility. But most importantly, no matter what responsibility we bear in that, he is the one who really went out there and went out of his way to do all the crazy stuff.
True.
So he should be held totally accountable for him. Now, could we say that Gambians really, because he was sending Gambians to go and commit these crimes on his behalf?
True.
Absolutely, yeah. We bear the responsibility. And as a country too, for far too long, we really entertained the nonsense, the madness. That's true too. And for far too long, our own citizens, our own friends, our own relatives, our own people were actually cheering him on while he did these things. Absolutely. Those are all our response. And those who did those things were absolutely those who who actually broke the law. I hope they will be prosecuted for their actions. And those who didn't break any law and their actions are more or less just moral, sort of a moral indictment. Well, I hope their conscience will haunt them for that. At least they will come out and apologize to the Gambian people for their role in that. I hope so. So, I mean, again, all sides have to bear some responsibility in this. Those who committed crimes on his behalf should come out and admit to those crimes and face the law. And testify against Jammeh. Let's bring Jammeh himself. Jammeh himself to provide himself, avail himself to the courts.
That's my question that I was going to ask you.
Absolutely, it's not impersonal.
Do you feel like Jammeh really owes the Gambian people a proper apology of everything that he did, and you also feel like he should start taking responsibility by accepting, letting the Gambia start healing?
Absolutely. I think that is something that is important. That even it should be important even to himself.
So he owes.
Jammeh owes us that much. He does. He needs to, number one, avail himself to the court. Let him come. Let's prosecute him for the crimes that were committed, and let him apologize also to the Gambian people. Whatever the law says, I'm not going to sit here and decide what the law is going to do and what it's not going to do. Whether he should be given a death penalty or whether he should be just be sent to life imprisonment or whatever they decide. I'll let the judges decide that. I want a competent court of law to decide that. But what I'm saying is he needs to be held accountable for his actions. If that doesn't happen, then really, even the closure we are talking about, because there will never be a closure for these families. They lost ones. I mean, that's what they lost. They lost loved ones. I don't think there can ever be closure to that. But at least the healing process itself can begin by the way of Jammeh's prosecution. Let him be prosecuted. And those who, I hope those who committed these crimes on his behalf will get a chance to wash things out. I'll tell them that you guys need to make yourself available to the court. Come out and tell your story to the courts. Make sure that you are prosecuted for your crimes, and let's hold you accountable, and you help us hold Jammeh to accountable. And I think once you do that, hopefully, at least some of us can even begin to talk about forgiveness at that point. Because, look, at some point we have to move on.
Talk about forgiveness. Would you ever forgive Jammeh?
I will find it hard to do. For the simple reason that if he were to be fully punished for the crimes that he committed, at that point I can think about that.
What is a fully punishment?
If my own version of punishing Jammeh really, that's some serious stuff. I don't want mankind to deal with Jammehs of this world anymore. Never. If he has to be put away for forever or whatever that means, I want to see that happen. Because I do believe that Jammeh really did some that. Deda Haidara, think about Deda Haidara. When Deda was killed, it really, I was brought up by Dele's wife's sister.
Oh, so his family.
Yeah, so his family. It was very
Sorry
personal.
about that.
That was very, very personal. And I look at Data because believe it or not, he was one of my inspirations in this struggle. He used to cheer me on. He did. I remember he used to tell me, "You guys are doing a good job. Keep it up." Yeah, he believed in the struggle. He believed in the idea that Jammeh was wrong for the Gambia, was not the right person for the Gambia.
Just reading through everything. And he never even accepted the fact that he was responsible for that man
Exactly.
disappearing.
Exactly. Data had that. Data was a pioneer. He was a great man. He was a wonderful man. He was a great family man. He loved his children, his wife, and he loved life, and he loved his job, and he loved doing what he was doing, which was journalism. He just loved every bit of it. And he committed no crime, and he didn't do anything to Jammeh that warranted killing him. Nothing. All he was doing was writing his column, "Good morning, Mr. President." That was it. And then he will raise this issue or that issue, media laws that were being put in place that he didn't like. He will raise them here and there. And that was it. And he killed them. People who commit such crimes ought to be held responsible for those crimes. I don't care who you are. You have to be held responsible for these crimes. Let's go to court. I'm not saying people come out and go and do their thing and, killing people and doing crimes. I don't believe in that. I believe in the courts. Let's do it through the court system. Let's hold them accountable. Once we do that, then we can talk about healing and forgiving. Because at that point, it's much easier to have that conversation. But in the current state of affairs, I don't think we can even get to the discussion of forgiveness and healing. Nah, that's not going to happen until and unless those who committed these crimes are held as fully responsible. See, we got prosecuted for quote-unquote the crimes we committed.
True.
And
you proudly served
we
your
bought
time.
guns, we did stuff, and we broke U.S. laws. Yeah. We did. I'm not mad at the United States at all. Not at all.
If given the opportunity again.
No bitterness, because this is a country of laws.
If given the opportunity again, just to get Jammeh out, would you do it again?
If it would be, yes. Given the opportunity again, I would do it again. Because now, will I do it different? Yes. Does that make sense?
True.
There are things I would have changed.
True.
Yes. There are things I wouldn't have done. But then again, hindsight is 2020. But yes, I will do it again, just in a different way.
Okay, it's just so humbling to have you on the show, and knowing everything that you've been through and everything you've done for us. I couldn't have asked for anything better than this. I want to personally thank you from the bottom of my heart. But for the new regime out there, in case some of you don't know, we have a new president now, Adama Barrow. Tell us a little bit about your involvement with the new current administration, and what are some things that you like about them, and what are some things that you wish they do differently, knowing the history of the Gambia and knowing how involved you've been with the Gambian politics.
Well, really, I was excited about. In fact, I'm even more than now, more in this case. When Yaya took over power, I was excited, but this time I'm even much more excited because this is a change that I think everybody fought for, and finally we had. And it's a stepping stone for our country in a massive way. We can build our institutions from scratch. Yes, we can build that new nation called a beautiful country called the Gambia.
Yes,
so really, I'm very excited for Barrow. I'm very excited for his administration. I want him to succeed. In fact, I like Barrow. I like him a lot.
I mean, he comes across very humble.
Just today, I was telling somebody that I said, I like Barrow. He said, "Banka, really?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I can't believe you sat down there." I just said that. Yeah, I just said it just like that. I said, "I like Barrow." He said, "But Banka, I can't believe you said that like that." I said, "Well, yeah." I said, I like the guy. I do like him. So,
that's a huge plus, Mr. President, or whoever is watching the show.
I don't think both
Mr. Banka Manneh is really approving you right now.
I also do like Barrow. And I want him to succeed.
Amen to that.
And I'm very happy for all of them, all the party leaders. They've suffered enough. They've suffered for too long. Hussein Dabo suffered so much under Jammeh. Oye Jallo, Halifa Sallah, Ahmad Ba, Mai. I mean, I can go on Henry Gomez. Each and every one of them really were faced with brutality under Jammeh.
So now it's about just letting them lead the country And every citizen of the Gambia play their part.
Everybody needs to play their part. Everybody needs to make sure that we support them, we help them succeed. And when I say support them and help them succeed, that's where my next point is coming in. They need to listen to those folks.
Communication.
Absolutely. Because they need all hands on deck. And if you want all hands on deck, you can't be cherry picking who you listen to and who you don't listen to. You have to listen to everybody.
All voices.
All voices. And frankly, the way they have been dealing with diaspora has not been satisfactory at all. It has been, I think that's an area that they need to really seriously look at. And understand that diaspora was a big part of this fight.
True. Diaspora was the fight.
Well, I don't want to go there, but what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, they need to recognize diaspora for what it is. That it has been a genuine and loyal partner in this struggle from the get-go.
True.
And has fought really hard to achieve this victory. So when you have a group like that with so much potential, the human resource here is unbelievable that they can tap into. Whether it's the experience, the exposure, the educational background, and the street smarts, all the things that we are so good at in the diaspora. The Gambia cannot afford to sideline those people.
True.
So they need to make sure that they reach out to them and let's sit down and work together.
So if Barrow is watching the show,
so we can
or any of his members of his cabinet, what message do you have for him?
Well, that's not been my message to Barrow. But just remember, the diaspora worked so hard for this struggle, and that the diaspora, whether this is real or fake, people can disagree on that. At the end of the day, if the diaspora feels ignored, then just see it that way. That yes, maybe they are ignored. It's not about liking or disliking or agreeing or disagreeing. It's all about respecting each other's feelings. And these are loyal partners. These are people who just all they want to do was to contribute and help and really push our country and take it to the next level. So if that's the case, and we all believe in that Gambia and that future and that big dream that we all harbor in our hearts and minds, then obviously it's important that we all recognize that for what it is. And the only way that therefore we can succeed is to work together in collaboration, in support of each other, and in a coordination method. Otherwise, if we, look, everybody has an agenda. You all have your agenda on the ground. Diaspora has its own agenda. People in diaspora have their agenda. People on the ground have their. Each and every one of us has a dream and aspire for something in the Gambia. When I say dream, meaning there's a Gambia that they want to see. So when people, depending on who, everybody will have their method as to how they want to pursue that dream. We can always disagree on that. But the point is, we all agree on one thing, and that is we all believe in Gambia and we all love the Gambia. So if that's the case, let's use this transitional period to really tap into all the resources that we can get our hands on. Let's reach out to all the different facets and groups and entities and individuals that we can reach out to. Once we do that, we'll be amazed at the kind of success we can achieve. But if we are sitting here and deciding this is the good guy, that's the bad guy, this is the right one, that's the wrong guy, we can do this, we can do the diaspora is the diaspora here and the Gambia there. There is no diaspora or Gambia. We have the Gambia. So if we are here, it's just the distance, it's just you can just say there is no barrier. After all, this is the 21st century. So all you have to do is pick up the phone and say, guys, I want to work with you all. Let's work together, let's coordinate, and let's see what we can put on the table. You'll be shocked at what you can achieve with that. But if we are here and diaspora is feeling ignored or not being really asked to participate fully in this process, it really creates this acrimonious situation, and that's not necessary. It doesn't have to be. You have a willing partner, a willing participant, and frankly, people who have been cooperating from day one. They fought for this.
Amen.
So please, 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 reach out to them. Let's all work together, and together we can achieve the dreams that you have for that country. Thank you.
Mr. Banka, such a beautiful message, sir.
Thank you.
And it's so humbling to have you. Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you very much.
Well, that brings us to the end of our segment for tonight. I'm your host, Mrs. Janha, and that's my brother and my hero.
My pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
Mr. Banka. Thank you, sir.
You.
It's a good time to have you.
Thank you.
Special edition of the Yaya Show.